Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you. And welcome to another episode of the Icarus Idea. Happy Valentine's Day. We have a spicy episode for you today, whether you are single or a couple, because we are talking to Lisa Kleisen. She studies at the University of Delft and designs for sexuality. Now we'll be talking about vibrator test panels, YouTube channels, the psychology of sex toy design. It's all in here. You will be intrigued. Hope you enjoy. Small disclaimer for the episode. We are aware that we generalize a bit by speaking of men and women, and that what we say doesn't apply to everyone. We hope you don't mind. Now, enjoy the episode. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Icarus Idea. Bram, I've talked enough. Hit us with the introduction of our guest, please.
Yeah, thanks. Well, as you said, it's February this month. When it's released, it's the 12th of February. So almost Valentine's Day. And for some people, that's with a partner. For some people, that's without a partner. But you still might need that intimacy. And, what can help is a sex toy. And if you're going to buy a sex toy, why not buy the Moonshake massager? Because today we're speaking to the designer. She designs for sexuality. And she designed the Moonshake massager while still in her bachelor IDE at the University of Delft. Her name is Lisa Kleisen, and at this moment currently looking for a master assignment. But for now, we're going to talk about how to design sex toys and everything that comes with it. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Corona-wise, doing pretty decent, I'd say.
Nice. That sounds really good.
So, well, we thought there might be some, let's say, cliché topics, and we wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be Bram and me half an hour giggling with someone that studies industrial design engineering. So, we have prepared ourselves to get this out of the way real quick. Lisa, you know what we're going to do, but to you listening, the cliché questions are coming up. There are yes or no questions. That's it. Let's just get them out of the way as quickly as we can, okay?
Let's go.
Okay, so Lisa, are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Question 1. When designing sex toys, do you test the products yourself?
Yes.
Question 2. Do you masturbate a lot?
No.
Question
Question
3.
three.
Do you have to love sex to design sex toys?
That's not a yes or no question. I'm sorry.
What on which aspect is it not a yes or no question?
Because you can love sex without loving to have a lot of sex.
Yeah.
So, yes, I love sex. It's the most interesting thing ever. Do I want to have sex all the time? No.
Okay,
Okay.
clear answer. Question 4,
Yeah.
Bram.
This is more of a statement. You have to say if it's false or not. Sex toys are not the real deal compared to actual partners.
Sex toys are not the real deal compared to actual partners. They're different. They're not comparable.
You can
Alright.
compare apples to oranges. All right.
All right.
Cool. Well,
With that out of the way.
we were wondering, did you ever get like a funny question? Like this must lead to some people asking some funny questions, right?
I think most funny questions are about how do you test that? Like where do you get your knowledge from? I think that is the funniest question. So, or actually, I think the most funny question was one of the very first questions I ever got when I was at the office, my first day. And this guy walked in, like this older guy, and he's like, "Oh, so you're gonna be the one designing a new male sex toy here?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am," super confident.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he said, "Okay, but you're a girl. Like, how do you think you're gonna do that?" And I said, "Well, I think I've seen more penises in my life than you have, so I think I know." And then that turned out to be my boss, who I haven't met. I was like, okay, that's a great first impression.
Hello. This
That's
is
something
me.
different.
So I think that was a pretty like funny moment.
Yeah. So how did he respond? What was
I mean, I stayed there for 3 years after that, so I think he,
you were allowed to stay in?
I think it was a good first impression.
You said it already that a lot of people ask you that when they first meet you, they ask, how do you get there? And with that, they mean designing the Moonshaker, I guess. But for people that don't know you, how did you get there?
How did I get into designing sex toys? Well, I think it started back in high school when people would be, like my friends would be joking around about it. I said I was going to go to design school, and they were like, oh, you're probably going to end up like being some sort of dildo designer or something like that. Because I was always interested in sexuality. I wasn't doing anything with sex toys. I never even owned a vibrator back then. But I found it interesting. And then when I was in design school, I think in my second year, I saw this vacancy on Facebook. It was by CLS Healthcare, and they were asking for a junior designer who wanted to design like adult products as a side job. And I just felt like, wait, how is this crossing my path right now? This is just calling for me. And I just knew that was what I wanted to do, and I knew that was what I was supposed to do. So I wrote this like motivation letter immediately. I think it was like 11 at night or something, because I was so excited, but I didn't want to send it in just yet, because I thought that's kind of weird, like at night. So I think I set my alarm the next day to just send that letter. I was like, I need to fucking do this. I need to do this. And yeah, then I got invited for an interview, which went really well. And I just felt that I found where I was supposed to be at that moment. And I think that's kind of how I got in. Like, I was chosen to come do the job. And ever since, I stayed there for a couple of years doing it. And you just get into it. That's how it went.
It's interesting that people ask, how did you get there? Because when I listen to your story, it sounds like a very common story, just that it's with an interest in sex toys instead of an interest into, I don't know, gaming or whatever.
There's absolutely no difference.
No. And then people don't ask, well, how did you get there?
No, that's true, but it's a taboo topic that makes it interesting for people. And I was the same. Like, when my friends would be joking around, like, you should be designing dildos, that's how they say it. It's of course not that, but I was like, yeah, that would be so cool. But if you would have asked me back then, like, how would you get there, I would have got no idea until that vacancy like crossed my path.
Now, in terms of that taboo, I'm curious. I know that at our university, University of Twente, there's been a few years ago, someone did their thesis on a sex toy, I think. But there was also like a big discussion. Like, people were thinking, no, I don't wanna be the supervisor of this student because I don't think it's appropriate or whatever. And then there was one that said, well, this is just like a product. It has a lot of interaction with the user, so why not?
Yeah.
Do you, for your master thesis at the TU Delft, do you find any problems with such as these or anything else?
Yeah. Well, not for my master thesis yet, because I haven't been dealing with that so much just yet, because it's still far away. But on the side, like next to my master's right now, I'm doing a startup in, also a sex toy. Probably it's really in the beginning, so we're not sure where we're going to go yet. But I was also looking for a supervisor to help me from school. Because we want to do like a lot of with sustainability and that kind of stuff. So I wanted someone to teach me and coach me through that. And I asked like one of the professors that I know, like, hey, I'm doing this on the side, and I was wondering, do you know anyone? And he replied like, well, I am not sure if there's anyone who really wants to be dealing with that topic, but maybe you could try her because she's a woman. So there's this stigma of that probably a woman needs to be my coach, because for guys it's apparently too awkward or something.
Why do you think people are reluctant to be a supervisor in this topic?
I think they just find it awkward. They're like, if you're working or talking about sexuality, that also means that it probably like violates their own privacy, and people just want to stay away from talking about sexuality.
Oh, yeah.
Or I think they take it very personal, that kind of puts a label on them if they are open towards sexuality. You're probably this kind of person, and that's what people don't want people to think about them.
Oh yeah, the stigmas.
Yeah.
Maybe people think you're like a dirty person.
Yeah, but I hope that's less for younger people than for older people.
I guess it's coming up, sort of.
Yeah.
I know, for example, you also had a sort of YouTube channel about
Yeah.
sexuality.
So let's get into this like YouTube channel because I think that's pretty cool. It was part of your job at CLS Healthcare, right? The first.
Yeah, I did it for them, yeah.
Okay. And was the goal also to like break down the taboo, or what was the goal of it?
The goal was mainly to give people insights in what there is on the market, what kind of different things there are. We did a lot of reviews with different people. So if you were to buy a sex toy, because people don't know where to start, they don't know what to get, they see different price ranges, they have no clue, and they cannot really ask anyone because they're scared to. They don't want to like walk into the sex shop and just ask someone. You're not going to ask your friends like, what kind of vibrator do you have? So then, we made those videos to kind of give people impressions of what the different sex toys are, and also of course to have some entertainment because the videos are also quite fun. But mainly the goal is to inform people about the market and give them low-key answers to their secretive questions.
For the design of the Moonshake, you used a test panel, right?
Yeah.
Was it hard to find that thing?
No, that's actually quite funny. I recently, like last week, handed in my finals for a project for school, which was also about masturbation. And I also presented like in the very beginning from, okay, like I'm gonna have a test panel with some people, and my coaches were like, well, how are you gonna get that? How are you gonna get people to masturbate for you? And
People that masturbate. No one does that, right? I mean,
No.
right?
No one.
Right. So
Ew.
hard
Ew.
to find people who masturbate, right? No, it's really easy actually, and that's the fun part. If I ask my friends or whoever actually, like, would you want to test whatever sex toy for me? Everyone says yes, of course, because they're not doing it from like out of their own interest. They're doing it for me, and that takes away a lot of the shame. So it's really easy actually. People are all open to test because they're like, oh, I can test that and say that I had to do it for her, so then I'm not to blame. I mean, she wanted me to do that. So it's actually really easy, and people are really interested in exploring sex toys and exploring masturbation. You just need to help them a little.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my test panels together.
I'm interested that you mention shame, because I think, well, then we get into this whole philosophical discussion about taboo and etc. But I think it's weird that people are ashamed to say that they do it for their own pleasure. So I don't think it's weird because, to be honest, I would say the same. But it's interesting that there is this thing that it brings a certain shame when you talk about your own pleasure.
I mean, it's a big part. Talking about the whole philosophical thing and blah, 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 and that's not what we are about, but that's such a huge part of designing for sexuality, because you cannot just be an engineer and make like a nice motor that vibrates really nicely.
No.
You need to know what people feel and why they feel that way and why they are ashamed and why they don't talk about it and why are they not ashamed if I tell them to masturbate. Like that's like 90% of the whole designing sex toys process, but that's what current designers of sex toys don't really know or don't really look into. And that's why everything is in the end just a vibrating thing. So I think that part is really important.
So you have this test panel. You ask them to test your products. But I guess it's so specific how everyone relates to these products. What might work for me doesn't work for you and to someone else. So how is it easy to design a product that I guess works so different on everyone else? Or is it just make sure that you have enough people and find out that there's this one way which work for most people, see if you can build around that?
That's a really hard question.
Yes.
Like, I'm thinking back, like, I did so many research in the past, like, a lot of research, different kinds of research, like, but yeah, it took me about 2 years to finally, like, get to the Moonshaker, because before that I did multiple other designs that were never taken into production.
Yeah.
So some of them, like, failed or were frozen, or um, so it's really hard, yeah, to say for me. Of course, body every body is different, and every body reacts like different to certain toys, and I get different data from all of them. But I think in the Moonshaker I solved that by making those different attachments.
Oh yeah.
And there, with the Moonshaker, you're not restricted to, there's not one way to use it. Like, it's a thing, you can place it wherever, however you want it. So in that sense, there is something in it for everyone. There's even
Yeah.
like this attachment for penis, so also guys or guy and girl can use it together. And I think that makes a sex toy good, is when it's usable for multiple
Yeah.
people in multiple different ways, no matter even what their like genitals are.
No.
Just for everyone that doesn't know what the Moonshaker is, it's like a microphone shaped thing with
It's
a
a
vibrating.
microphone, yeah.
Can I say
Head.
that, or should I let you do the description, because then it maybe makes more sense?
Well, for me, like, I tend to forget what people know about sex toys, because I would say, it's like a wand massager, but that of course makes no sense, not to everyone. But a microphone shape is a really good description, always, with just a vibrating head, and on top of the head you can place different attachments, which enhance like the experience, so you can have something different every time.
Yeah. I found it really innovating, actually.
Well, thanks.
It seems sort of logical now that it's designed. But now normally you would have 4 different products to buy. But now you can just buy them all.
You can customize your own product every time. You can keep updating it.
It's like a modular design, if you want to use
Yes.
a really cliche word.
Well, that's what it is.
That's what it is, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes for everyone to check out.
Where
It's
people
really
can
fun.
buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can still buy it, right? It's not
Yeah,
out of stock
absolutely.
yet.
Yeah.
Cool. You said it all the way in the beginning as well. What is there to design more? Because I think it was Womanizer, the company that had a orgasm guaranteed vibrator. I think is it a vibrator?
Yeah.
So for a product, that's like the thing you want, I guess, when you're selling to a customer. But what is there to go from there? Why?
Yeah, it feels a bit like the end station of the entire industry. It's like a bread toaster that always makes the perfect slice of bread. Then what do you need any other bread toasters for? And the same goes for here. If you have something that always does the trick.
Because, like, you're not always feeling bread, so sometimes you want something else. And it would be nice to have like a machine that, for example, like, can make the perfect toast and the perfect egg, and also something else. Like, you don't always want the same thing, even though it's really nice. Like, those things, it's not like this is the best and this is all worse. It's like, this is really good and this is really good and this is also really good. Like,
it's all different.
It's all different.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing that people don't think about for sex toys, or guys, mainly guys. They're like, oh, I have my right hand and that works. Yeah, okay, great. But if it can be better, why wouldn't you try it?
Yeah, I guess for guys it's even more a taboo than it is for girls.
Yeah.
I guess. Although I don't know any guy that owns a sex toy.
Well,
You
maybe
probably
you do,
but
you
No,
don't
they
know
don't say
this.
it. Yeah, all right. They
yeah.
never said to me
Do
then.
you guys own a sex toy?
No,
I don't.
I actually don't. Maybe for the same reason then.
Maybe you should. Maybe after this episode, you go to Willie.nl and you just order yourself one, and then you're gonna let me know how it was.
And
Alright.
then we're part of the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe I can hook you up with something.
I like how this interview for industrial design education turned into a recruiting session for a sex panel.
I'm just trying to help you out.
Now, you mentioned when we talked to you and we asked you, hey, do you want to do an interview? You said that you wanted to talk about what you want to achieve, right? Now, we've talked about the taboo already, and that you've let's say tried to break it down partially with the Pleasure Academy videos. But like, what do you want to achieve in this industry? Because it feels like this is the place where you're gonna do your thing.
Yeah, it feels like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I will probably stay in here. What I want to achieve is actually I kind of mentioned it earlier. I don't want to make the next best vibrating thing that stimulates your clitoris or penis
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. I want to dive into the psychology behind sexuality and see, for example, like why do guys have such big issues with trying something out, whereas when they tried it, they're like, oh, maybe this is really nice. I want to get more into that and like breaking taboos using certain designs, or not even taboos. I just want to look way beyond just stimulating genitals, because that's been done and that will be done. And I think the psychology and how to actually improve people's sex lives through design is way more interesting, and something that, as far as I know, not a lot of people are looking into yet.
I think that's a pretty big goal.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big goal, but I have a long life to live. So.
True. We asked if you have a product that guarantees an orgasm, then that could be like the end of the ultimate product. You don't have to compete with that anymore. You could think, but you said there's more to it, right? You don't always want the same piece of bread, so to say. Now, how can you diversify? Just like in any other product branch, you have to diversify in comparison to your competitors. How do you do that? And is that sustainability that you mentioned several times in interviews or on your videos, is that a way that you can diversify?
I personally don't think that sustainability would be something that like a buyer would make their decision upon. I don't think so for a sex toy, at least not right now. So that would be something that I would want to integrate in the product, because I want that and I think it's important. But
Just out of basic principle.
yeah. But I think when you're talking about the diversifying diversification, that would be more like about that psychological aspect that I just mentioned, that I would look into, like how can you make the experience amazing other than just stimulating body parts. So how could you add the mental aspect to those kind of products to make it more concrete? For example, it's proven like by many scientific researches that women need a certain mood and ambience to get sexually aroused. For a guy, you can, if I can say it like that, you can simply like look at their penis and he'll get aroused physically.
Yeah,
For a
you've got a
woman,
point.
that's like so different. Women need way more. Like they need more time. They need more stimuli to get to this same level of arousal. Looking at like a purple vibrator is not gonna do that.
No.
Like for them, and it would be so nice if you could design for this like mental state of arousal for women rather than like the physical stimulus.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what I would want to look into, because I know, we all know, I think, that a lot of women have a hard time getting into the mood. I don't feel like it. I have a headache. I don't want to have sex right now. And that is more of a problem than reaching that orgasm. Like that orgasm, reaching orgasm, there's plenty of products for that available, but not for that
Getting in the mood.
The mental
yeah,
state.
mental state. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you have like ideas already how to do that? Are there companies that are into this, or?
As far as I know, I don't know like any product or company that really focuses on that. So maybe now I'm giving away like all my my ideas.
Oh,
Patented.
shit.
I
The
Copyrighted by
intellectual
Lisa.
property.
Yeah. Don't touch this, everyone.
I hope not. Yeah, I did my project. My previous project for school was an individual project for like one semester. I did it all about this actually, so I just handed that in, and it's basically about making it easy for women to create a certain mood in which they are allowed and encouraged to explore their own bodies. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Which IDU skills do you think are really necessary when it comes to designing for sexuality?
User research.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, you need to know what people want, because it's something that no one talks about. So you can only do what you know yourself. And that's the problem with sexuality. Everyone wants something else. So you need to be able to do proper human research and make sure that people are telling you the truth. So that's a skill that you need. Like, you're not just gonna tell anyone, oh, I like to masturbate this way or with that sex toy.
No.
You need to have the skill to get the right data from
Yeah.
people.
Know what's actually behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still really quite interested in the networking that you do. Because when we called, you said, yeah, I've been busy networking, getting to conferences, and you mentioned that you didn't know a company yet that did anything with the mental state that women need to get into, let's say, the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, how does that go? Like, what do you do to figure out what this industry is like and what the people are like in it? Like, how does that go, that networking?
I talk a lot. I talk a lot about this to anyone who wants to talk to me about it. That's quite some people, so that's nice. I'm quite active on Instagram. I try to like follow a lot of people who are doing things around the subject. They often follow me back, and then sometimes I get like this invitation, like, "Hey, should we just have a Zoom call? Like, why not? I mean, just get to know each other." That happens. And LinkedIn, I try to like reach out to people on LinkedIn as well. And I think I have the luck that such a subject, it sticks to people. Like, they don't forget about me when they're like, oh wait, that's that girl who does all that. And if there's like someone somewhere, they'll be like, I'll be the first to be mentioned. And that's kind of, that's the good side of the downside of that people like remember me. Oh, that's that girl who talks about sex. But yeah,
I do think that a lot of what you just said applies to other industries and interests of people as well, though. That's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I think this is useful for anyone with any interest in any area. Like the doing the Instagram, the using LinkedIn in tactical ways, calling and talking to people about it. I don't think it matters what your interest is. If you do this, I think it really can help you in finding a nice place to do your thing. But Bram, hit us with that final question.
I guess the last question, that's a question that we always ask. What is your advice for, I guess, future designers or just everyone listening?
Yeah, super cliche, but don't be afraid to follow your dreams and do what you think is right, because that's going to get you further than just following rules and advices from other people, although you should listen to this advice, of course. But but yeah, I think that's really important. Stick to what you think is right and what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Create your own path.
Really, don't be scared.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a cliche. I agree with you. We've heard it before, but since a lot of people said it so far, there might be some truth to it.
Clichés are clichés because they're
Maybe.
true, right?
At least
what I heard.
partially, I think. Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
not
I also like that we started with cliches and now we're back at cliches.
full circle.
Yeah, let's end the episode right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for talking with us. It was a really nice conversation.
Thank you.
And for you listening, check out the Moonshake Massager. Check out Lisa Kleisen. If someone has a master assignment for her, hit us up or hit her up. Works both ways. And let us know what you think.
Check out Lisa Kleisen on Instagram.
Yeah.
Lil Kleisen.
Lil Kleisen. Check out Lil Kleisen on Instagram.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think of the episode. If you have any questions, as always, reach out. Any feedback, any ideas. Always open for DMs.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Yeah.
Always fun to talk about sex, right?
Yeah.
Now go get yourself a masturbator.
You go get yourself a masturbator. You studied psychology for a year, right?
Where did you find that? My LinkedIn page.
I guess you're
or something.
LinkedIn. We're really good stalkers, by the way.
We're really good LinkedIn stalkers.
I'm getting a little scared here.
Well, you only use it for the right things, but we're really good stalkers.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Not bragging.
Not bragging, but maybe.